Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, Happy New Year. It's the first show of 2023. So today on Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, this is episode 149. We are talking about all the things that we have learned from designer show houses. We're really fortunate. We live in Atlanta, Georgia, as y'all know, and we have been able to visit designer show houses for a gazillion years.
For as long as I can remember.
Yeah. They're normally now, they're sponsored by Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, Flower Magazine, House Beautiful Magazine, Atlanta Symphony back in the day, Roswell Women's Club. Remember all those? They were just so great. And so if you aren't familiar with what a designer show house is, they are most commonly a very large, extravagant home, many times new construction, and they have been designed to the nines by a dozen or so interior designers who each take a space and just blow it out. And so they are able to showcase their best work. And for those of us that get to visit it, we learn a lot, whether you're just, a design lover, or you're trying to get new ideas for your home, or you're an interior designer really wanting to see the creme de la creme of design. So we recently in December went to Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles annual holiday Home for the Holiday show house. And then we went to House Beautiful magazine, had a whole home project 22 where they partnered with Ladisic Fine Homes, and they showcased a whole home that actually wasn't new construction. It was a renovation. Yeah. And so we were talking, we're like, every year we learn so much, and so many of our friends in other cities, they don't have these
so
opportunities.
Lucky to have this kind of stuff here.
Yeah. So we thought we'd share the things that we learn time and again at these show houses, since probably the majority of you don't get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have had such a tremendous response for our 2023 sponsorships, and we're so flattered and so excited to have the people that have signed up so far.
Yep.
But we're excited to welcome back ProSource of Marietta. This is their third year sponsoring us. We've talked about it before, they're our stomping ground for a variety of selections for our clients, from the latest and greatest tile to hardwoods, custom rugs, cabinetry, and plumbing. Their team, especially their showroom manager, Stacy Ray, she makes our lives so easy, especially being a one-stop shop kind of showroom in a big city like Atlanta.
Yep.
If you're a designer, you know that inventories and pricing of material are constantly changing.
Yep.
So at ProSource, each account manager does the footwork to keep us up to date on what's happening. Check them out at ProSourceMarietta.com or ProSourceWholesale.com for a showroom near you.
Yeah, they are national.
Yes.
We just happen to love our Marietta location.
Yeah.
Yes. So thanks, guys. So let's jump into all the things that we have learned over the years.
And this, I think, is good for for people who are not exposed to this, like when we go to, showrooms and High Point and the Mart and all that, we see a lot of this, but the actual seeing it in a room, the scale, I think, is so important.
Yep.
People will walk in, and I think an average person who's not exposed to this would think, wow, everything is so big,
right?
And everything's so, overdone, but it shows you that scale is so important, and that we see a lot of people getting wrong in a lot of the spaces.
And I think that if there's anything to be learned about the value of an interior designer, because a lot of this stuff you can't store buy. You can't. You can't find it.
It's custom stuff.
It's custom stuff. And that's what we're all about is all the custom stuff. We have the resources and we have the people to make a certain piece or to have the courage to step out and buy. You remember that time we had that one client call, and she was like, "The kitchen pendants just arrived. They're totally wrong. They're huge." And we were like, we made a mistake. Like, what? And then we're like, okay, relax. Just send us a picture. It's no big deal. She sends us a picture. We're like, oh yeah, those are right. Wait till they go up. And they went up, and she was like, oh yeah. Yes, I love these.
The other thing about custom, it was, I can't remember what show house it was, but I think it was on the cover of Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles magazine recently, where it's a foyer, and you've got the banister like right there, and then tucked in is like a chase lounge, like it's a blue chase lounge. Of course it's custom because it fit in there perfectly. But those are the kinds of things that not store-bought, the perfect color, the perfect size, in the perfect space.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. The other thing that I pay particular attention to when I go to show homes, because I don't feel like I'm really good at this, is furniture placement and space plans. I'll always kind of like walk into the room and just kind of like take it all in and see the enormity of furniture that was fit into this room, but done right. And so your normal one sofa, two chairs, two sofas, two chairs kind of thing. There's always a little twist. And a lot of times it's a cute little like vintage chair or something that's a little gem that just gets thrown in.
Interesting thrown in. It might be a really modern room, but then there's an antique in there, which makes it so cool. But the highlight for us at the Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles was Lauren Deloche's dining room. This was really cool. Now,
girl, you did a good job.
Yep. Now, I have the House Beautiful that this is the December issue, and all of these rooms are in here. But hers was a dining room that she didn't. So the light fixture, which by the way, all of the lighting in that house was Circa lighting, and it was beautiful,
visual comfort.
And she took. Instead of the table being right under the center chandelier, the table was off to the side towards the front of the home, because you walked in the front door and it was immediately to your right, and there was a window right there. So she had a beautiful bench in front of the window, the long table, and then the chairs around it. Then you had that space totally in the middle, and the light fixture was right above you, but it didn't seem weird. And then on the left side was a beautiful cabinet, like a buffet.
I think it was
like a chest.
It was
like
it was a curio, it had
like
the top.
An antique, beautiful piece with two gorgeously upholstered chairs in front of that. So it was like, wow, what a different idea to be able to do that.
The back wall. So when you walked in the front door and you're looking, as she said, to your right, the whole entire back wall was a wine refrigeration, glass and wrought iron doors with all the beautiful wine bottles, stacked. Not too much. It wasn't like
it wasn't
look overfilled.
It wasn't overfilled. It still felt airy.
Yes.
But the other thing was this upholstered fabric on the wall. It was an embroidered fabric that was. I can't even just. I mean, you'll have to. You really have to
by the way, the ceilings were lacquered. They were like it almost looked like Venetian plaster. Like it had a.
I think it was Venetian plaster. It was. Yes.
It had a green, some movement and some. It kind of looked like the inside of a oyster shell or something. It was green. But normally you would think, oh, my dining room, I'm gonna put a big chandelier in the center, and then I'm gonna put a big table underneath it. And no, she split that room right in half, and it was so perfect.
Yeah. Who would ever think to do that? Now I'm looking at that thinking, where could we do that? That's total inspiration.
Yes. Yeah. And of course it was a bigger dining room than normal. It was very wide, but I do that all day. The other thing that we saw when was in Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, when we went over to the House Beautiful Whole House project, Jonathan Savage had done a dining room as well. And he kind of did the same thing, but it was totally different. He had a beautiful fireplace in the middle of the room where he had a big dining set on one side. It was round though. And then on the left side was all kind of seating.
Yeah.
So
let's say you have your wonderful dinner and then you just mosey on over and have a drink there with the fireplace. Yeah, like it shows you lifestyle too. How for entertaining. Like what a great idea to be able to entertain that way. Who would ever think to do that? Yeah.
Duh.
I love the ideas.
Right?
I love the ideas.
Makes you go home and go, man, I need to rethink. I need to rethink everything. But for us as designers, it just gives us that extra inspiration and experience to throw ideas out to our clients and tackle some
just new and different,
challenging spaces sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
shake it up,
baby. Shake it up.
Yeah.
Okay. This will come as no surprise, but we got to bring it up. Oversized lighting.
Oh yeah. Cause we talk about it all the time.
Yep.
But what is so interesting, if you get the magazine, Mark Williams in the House Beautiful issue did this lighting that was like,
he knocked it out of the park.
It was like these strands of like, what's so funny is we saw this lighting when we went to High Point and they were showing it as like a long pendant. Okay. It had long pendant.
Oh my God. I didn't even put two and two
realize
together.
That? So what he did was he took those, there were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 receptacles up there and then strung them.
He strung them like a crystal necklace.
It's absolutely amazing.
And they were LED little
like
crystals,
like strand pearls, sort of like.
But it was huge, and it was this vaulted ceiling.
It was
and what I
wood.
loved in that house was they mixed rustic and glam
all over the place.
All over the place. So the ceiling was wasn't barn-like. It was more sophisticated than that. But it was a great kind of a rusticy, wide plank wood, vaulted ceiling.
More dark woods, like we said.
Yeah.
A lot more dark woods and a lot of antiques.
And then these big strands of these LED crystal. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. And while we're talking about that room done by Mark Williams and Nikki Papadopoulos, they had a piece of an oil painting, like an old-timey oil painting in there that was literally
it covered the whole wall.
10 feet by 8 feet.
It covered the whole wall.
I don't even know. Where'd you get that? It was so huge and it was so appropriate. I mean, it was so perfect. Talk about scale. It was really well done. So you can go on to these Atlanta Holiday Home on Instagram and also House Beautiful Whole Home Project, and you can see a lot of these.
Make sure you put in 2022 because I think House Beautiful has done this like for 4 or 5 years.
Yes, and of course, Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles is our like the guru of designer show houses in Atlanta. Yeah. They do Serenbe, they do a Christmas one, and they do a southeastern spring one. So they just do an amazing job.
Yeah.
So oversized lighting always, and we saw it in. It's not in just big spaces. It's still in, kitchen pendants, in bathrooms. I feel like in every showroom we go to, there's always sconces in the bathroom.
Yep.
Lighting like forget the overhead vanity strip light. That's never happening.
If anything, show houses to me are a total education in lighting.
Yes.
Because they are done in a way that you don't really think so, or you see something, you think, I would have never thought to put that there, but it looks really good. Or it seems like it would be overdone, but it's not. You
know what else was in that whole home project was the uplighting, remember?
Oh, there was uplighting everywhere.
Uplighting everywhere. In all of, even if it didn't have necessarily a vaulted ceiling, if it had a cove ceiling or it was, there was uplighting, up front, coming up from the crown molding, and it's just that ambient light that not so glaring, just mood lighting.
Even the custom closets had all that beautiful
all the shelves.
All the shelves had that under cabinet lighting, just moody. It made it feel very moody.
But if you don't see it, you don't know it. And if you don't have an interior designer guiding you, how would you know these things? And even in magazines, I think sometimes you flip through the pages, and unless you read a magazine, you learn a lot more when you read the magazine. It's easy to flip through the pretty pictures, but these are the kind of things.
Yeah, it's true, because as you read, there will be something that you didn't really notice that they're talking about. If you really want to learn, that's how to do it.
Yep.
All right. So specialized spaces.
Oh, yes. We saw a lot of these.
We
always do.
Yeah. There was a closet. It was a teen room, and it was a closet, which there were lots of closets, so they didn't really need this.
Yeah.
So in this little kind of nook, they put like a desk or table, and it was a little like art area.
Art studio, kind of. It was totally funky.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean,
it was really, my kids would have loved that. They were always doing some kind of craft or painting or reading or just a quiet space to themselves. That was creative
and they even in the man's closet.
Yep.
The man's closet had like a little desk in there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he's going in there, getting ready for work, but he can sit there for a minute, check an email. Like it's once again lifestyle. So so if he's getting dressed in his closet, he's like thinks this is me thinking of something. It's like, oh shoot, let me go ahead and send that real quick. It's kind of nice to have it right there.
Yeah, and it was funny that it was in the man's closet. Mm-hmm. I would have thought it would have actually been a great vanity, but they didn't do it because in this house, was this Whole Home Project or Atlanta Homes?
Kind of
we went to them so close. Yeah. We went to them like back to back, so I get confused. But they had the man and the woman had their own closets and their own vanities. Did they have their own bathrooms?
Yes.
They have their own.
I don't remember.
Did they share a bathroom?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. But the woman had her own vanity. And so this was kind of like the man's version, but I loved that it was by a window. Yeah. I love a window in a closet, kind of like a window by a kitchen sink. I love that. And so the natural light was great. So if that was to be a vanity for a woman putting on her makeup, it was perfect. So
you see everything.
And of course, they had great islands in the middle with all the pull-out jewelry drawers and everything was lit up.
There was a whole, like it was, so that the top of it was glass, and underneath there were all the sections for like 20 pairs of sunglasses, which, I have 20 pairs of sunglasses. And then, then the jewelry and then the socks. It was just,
yes. Yeah. The other thing that we saw in both houses was morning bars or beverage bars or wine rooms. I think the Whole Home Project had, because Signature Kitchen Suites was one of the sponsors, and they have amazing sources for all these small kind of things. And so, for example, in the master suite or the owner suite that Mark and Nikki did, it was in the hallway. And it was the tiniest sink you ever saw. It was so cute. It was like rectangular, and then this like super amazing coffee machine next to it. Yeah. So,
well, if you think about it, these homes are enormous.
They're big. Yeah.
So when you get up in the morning, you don't want to have to walk, a mile to get to the coffee machine. So you have to have it right there.
Yeah.
They also had, I'm not sure if it was in that one, was the styler.
Yes.
The LG styler.
That was in the man's closet, I think. Yeah.
Which is like almost like a little
dry cleaning
home sort of thing, refresher, which is kind of cool. I have one of those.
But they had, there were like miniature bars, but with refrigeration. So it was off of one of the offices or off the family room. There was they had the two towers for refrigeration of wine. And then they had a little baby refrigerator and a beautiful bar.
Media room.
Yeah. And then there was another one that, again, was just beverages. It doesn't always have to be alcohol, Well,
like I said, if you're, a mile away from the kitchen, you can't be having that.
But even if you don't have a big house, I think it's an amazing way to think about, Russ is showing it on the screen, to think about where you can just make life feel luxurious,
Well, this is something I'd never seen. On the walls, that was hide in a chevron pattern, and a green chevron hide. Where do you see that?
Yeah. It was really cool. But I just love the whole beverage bar, coffee bar, wine, in little nooks and crannies, just to make it feel very resort-like. And you can do that in your own home anywhere.
Yeah.
So fireplace design. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is good for me because we haven't done a lot of custom fireplaces. We've done a lot where we took out the heavy mantle and surround completely and tiled floor to ceiling the whole wall. Did a simple, maybe a floating mantle, or did an inset, off the ground inset, beautiful fireplace. But Francois and Company here in Atlanta, you got to go to their website and check it out. Francois and Company, they were one of the sponsors at the Whole Home Project. And the design of the mantle surrounds, stone, brushed brass, sleek, some were heavier and more ornate. I was blown away.
Yeah. Like things you've never seen before. Things
They were
you've
jewels.
just never seen.
Yeah, they were jewels in every room.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gone are kind of the days of the traditional mantle.
Yeah.
TV with,
Yeah.
people, our clients always say, oh, but I feel like I need to decorate my mantle. No,
It's over.
Nope.
Those days are gone.
Nope.
Yep.
It's like the top of cabinets. No.
No more.
We don't.
No more. The other thing that I really loved was like these scullery kitchens.
Yes.
And oversized pantries.
Yes.
I mean, these rooms, they were so like they
were beautiful.
Yeah. The one in the whole home, the countertop was a wood countertop that had
It
like
was
a
walnut.
I felt like I was in like I felt like I was in Europe
Yes.
somewhere
Yes.
with the old antiques. I mean, it just felt like
Yeah.
homey, like
Mhm. It was a walnut countertop with a beautiful edge. The backsplash was antique mirrored glass. The cabinets were in this kind of like tone on tone teal with heavy, heavy. Russ is showing it on the screen if you're watching us on YouTube. Antique brushed brass hardware.
Yeah.
But this is something to think about if you are building a home. To have this second scullery kitchen or pantry, or a butler's pantry, if you will, to take some of your messy, entertaining things out of your kitchen. So if somebody is preparing hors d'oeuvres, or you could have your bar in there, or your bigger appliances, your KitchenAids and your big toaster, your big coffee machine, kind of go in this area to keep your kitchen just a little bit more clutter-free.
It doesn't feel so messy and cluttered.
But they're beautiful. They're still beautiful. Yeah. And it's really especially nice if you ever have a caterer, and then the caterer is completely in that area and not in the kitchen where undoubtedly people are gathering and you're entertaining.
And the big appliances, your mixer and all of that kind of stuff. It's just hidden.
Extra ice machine.
Hidden. Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Remember the one, I think it must have been Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, where the whole scullery was behind a hidden door.
Oh yeah.
Who did that?
That Sherry Hart did that one.
No, it was our
Nope.
our favorite kitchen designer here. Oh my God, he's going to kill us.
Matthew Quinn?
Yes. I think Matthew Quinn did it. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Sorry. Yeah. We love you. But it was behind a hidden, it looked like the wall, it was paneled, but when you pushed it, it was this whole new room, and it was a whole second, catering kitchen.
Yeah.
To die for.
It was great.
Yeah. Okay. What else have we learned?
Well, this is nothing new
for us,
but wallpaper is everywhere. Where?
Yeah.
Everywhere. I felt like the whole home had more grass cloth than anything. There was one bedroom that had a lot of millwork, and so there was grass cloth in between them, all up in the ceiling. Like the texture that it brings. If you were to see a before and after of that room without the wallpaper, it would look so cold
and flat. And
this just looked amazing.
Yeah. People are still so scared of wallpaper. It's total PTSD from years past, but people, you got to embrace it. It makes a space, and it takes the pressure off of so many things. If you, let's just say you don't have a lot of art, or you don't want to, it's just a gem way to put a real wow in a room.
I love it in a laundry room, in a powder bath, but people are using it really everywhere.
We saw it on a lot of ceilings.
It was in that one closet.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in the closet. And then the one, really big room at the whole home, the whole family room area was tiled in a stripe.
Oh, it was done in a stripe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a little much, but it looked great. Yep.
That room is what's on the cover of the House Beautiful magazine.
Oh yes. That's a lesson in scale right there.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say was that just completely left my brain. Absolutely left my brain. I can't remember now. Forget it. I got it. Remember there was a triple window.
Yeah.
It was in a hallway, and it was all wallpapered, but there was this really wide trim in between the windows, and she took the wallpaper,
they continued it
up the trim so that it kind of became a part of the window.
Never saw anything like that
We've never
before.
done that.
Never saw anything like that before. And so this is really great. I think window treatment fabricators should go to show houses to see what they're doing.
Absolutely.
We can talk about that in a minute. I think
Artists.
wallpaper installers, artists, like it's inspiring. Like we get exposed to things that we would have never thought of.
Yeah.
So,
and what's also fun is if you're ever traveling, like one time we were in Charleston for a spring break with our kids, and there happened to be a show house that weekend. And so I went. I mean, it only takes, an hour and a half to walk through the house, and cost the tickets are like $30 to $40.
And they're always benefiting a charity.
And they're always benefiting a charity. Yes. So look for them when you're in a town.
Yeah. It's like a little
lots of places don't have
little
them,
field trip.
If they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we see?
Tile design.
Yes.
Kelly and I are both suckers for penny tile. I don't know. I just love it. They had these micro pennies in designs that were so amazing.
Yeah. It was so cool. It was so cool. And they took it, one of the bathrooms, it was on that big shower, all on the floor and up the walls. And
in a stripe pattern.
I'm talking like the penny tiles. And, penny tiles is usually round. It's like the size of a nickel. And they come in, all different colors. Sometimes they're in design. Sometimes it's just a ocean of penny tiles, which is beautiful. But these micro ones,
and they turned it into stripes. I mean, they made stripes out of the colors.
The stripes were on the floor of one, and then in another one, it was kind of like geometric. It probably came that way. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they have a great installer. It had to have come that way. There's no way an installer would.
But these are the kinds of things where, like, let's say you're not renovating your house in the next few months. Take the pictures. And then when you do go to renovate, because you won't remember. Yeah. And that's something you can show a tile installer and say, I saw this at a show house. Is this possible? So that you can remember the stuff.
One of the bathrooms had marble on the floors, up the walls, and kind of up an angled ceiling. And it was a busy kind of gray and white marble, but there wasn't any art. There wasn't anything else in the room except a killer vanity that was, we'll get to. Are we getting to that? Yes, finishes. But it didn't need anything else.
No.
It was gorgeous.
No. That's not the same one that had the tub and shower were literally like outside.
No.
Was that Mark's?
Yes, that was part of Mark and Nikki's.
So you had your vanities and everything, but then there was like a little door and you walked into this little outside area, all windows, and the tub was there and then the shower was there. So you literally felt like you were showering outside.
Absolutely.
There were a couple houses there. I don't know how that goes.
Might have to figure that out later, but
with the sun shining in, like, it's cool.
It's so cool. I mean, who cares if the wildlife sees you naked? It was really, really neat. So then every single designer show house, at least in Atlanta, has the most spectacular outdoor living spaces to the nines. Not just the patio with the patio furniture, but the pool and the gazebo
kitchen.
And look at the screen if you're watching us on YouTube. Oh my gosh.
That fireplace.
I can't even. Who came up with that design?
Well, that arch is on the interior window. So it all, it was all just really beautiful.
Yeah. Amazing. So they're just, again, I think a lot of these, like the oversized pantry and the outdoor living they were always around, but the pandemic drove them to a higher level. So they are really meant for a whole new extension of your house.
This one that they're showing right now, it's under a porch. I mean, but the outside is open, but there's heaters under there.
Oh yeah.
So that's year round.
Yes.
That's year round living. And it's just so awesome. All the greenery around it.
And the heaters, they don't have to be the big ones that you see at a restaurant that you get at
these
Costco.
are right in the ceiling.
They're all in the ceiling, flush
ceiling.
to the ceiling. You can't even see them. They heat it up like crazy. Yeah. And, grab a blanket and go out there, even if it's super cold.
Yeah. I know.
It was really, really, really good lessons to be learned there. And then finishes. This is always a lesson to be learned. There was some new stuff that we saw this time. One, the island had rounded corners. We saw a lot of rounded.
I've never seen an island finished like that.
No, it was, I want to say it was walnut on the bottom with a quartz or a marble on the top, but the entire island was round. So you can see it in the pictures.
Yep.
And we saw it again in the
master vanities.
In the woman's vanities. Oh, and in the master bedroom too.
Yeah.
Just the drawers were rounded. They weren't flat faced, and it was just so soft.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. Also, a lot of fluting, on the face of especially cabinetry and vanities. That made them really interesting.
I mean, we saw that a lot in furniture in High Point. So that fluting is very popular. It's all about the texture, I think, and a lot of laminate.
Yes, we still saw really pretty laminate. So if let's say you're finishing off a second space, or you're finishing off the inside of a closet or something like that, and it doesn't have to be, the beautiful walnut that's on the actual, island. It can look just like it, and it's just nice for spaces where the doors open a lot.
Yep. You know what is another thing that we saw so much of? And I usually only see this at show houses, and I think people might be afraid to do it, but it was Fiberworks rugs that were cut out. So let's just say you had a rectangular room, and here's like your fireplace. So the rug would be
templated
like that. Yeah. And then it would come out, it just shaped to go around corners or to go into certain areas. And it was so neat.
Yes. Over and over again, we saw that.
And a lot of seagrass and a lot of textured rugs.
Always.
Yeah.
And then lastly, in regards to finishes, we saw deep, deep hues of color, floor, trim, ceiling, the entire room, like encapsulated in like
one color,
a deep burgundy or a rich teal, my mom's listening going, oh, I would hate that. But you got to see it, to know it, to experience it. And then it still might not be your cup of tea, but maybe you do it in a different color. Or I
think a lot of it is for conversation. I mean, I think some people do a little bit out of the ordinary. They're taking risks because that's what you go to see. I mean, you don't want to go see
vanilla at a show
you've
house.
Seen.
Yeah.
So for the wall to be completely burgundy, right? Not my cup of tea, but it's just something different. And the teal. Now that room I liked. But you're not going to like everything. There's always a little bit. There's always some like, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They're taking risks, and a lot of times it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
But take it for what it is.
Right. Absolutely.
And
there's skill there. No matter how you shake it, there's still a lot of skill there.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, designer show houses are very expensive for the designers. Yeah. They borrow things from showrooms that they have relationships with. Sometimes there's sponsors. A lot of times there isn't. They are really trying to sell the items in their rooms because it's quite pricey. I mean, it's a huge investment, and a lot of the bigger show houses, Kips Bay in New York, and a lot of them, the designers actually have to pay to even they have to be invited, and then once they're invited, even though they're invited, they have to pay to participate. Thousands of dollars. So,
and if you ask a designer why do they do a show house, they'll just say that it can be a complete reflection of me. I'm the client, and I can use items and I can do things that I want to do to showcase what what I'm capable of. And so I think a lot of people hire designers maybe after seeing something in a show house, or they're going to buy some of the products because they've seen it in a space. Like if you just show something to somebody on its own, it might not be that exciting, but when you see it in a room.
Yeah.
So I think it's an advantage too.
And we've done how many? Four,
three
maybe. Or four in here in Atlanta and in Charleston. We don't do a lot simply because our team is small, and so we can't really like delegate it to a junior designer, or with our assistants, of course. Or it's just it takes a lot on our team. So we've done them. We love doing them. We've done smaller spaces, and we'll continue to do that. But it's a huge commitment, and so appreciate the designers that put these on, because they really do an amazing job. And if you see something that you like, buy it from them because they don't want to pack it up and move it out of the house. They'd rather you buy it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
What was the Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles home? What was that house going for? Was that $6 million? I heard a couple of different things.
I would assume it was more than that.
It was a lot.
Yeah, they're usually anywhere from 7 to 10.
Yeah,
which
they're beautiful.
In another part of the country would be double that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we are so lucky in Atlanta to have so much. And even going to the shows, the neighborhoods are so beautiful.
Yes, it's a nice drive in.
We'll drive in and there may be a street we haven't been down, and it's just like, we're what is this street now? What are these homes?
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, they're a little more sparse, so you can kind of see more through those trees.
Yeah.
And then at holiday time, everybody has those beautiful mailboxes, and they have gorgeous like greenery and bows and berries and stuff on there.
That's another thing we didn't talk about is in the Atlanta holiday home put on by Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, there's a Christmas tree in every single room, or if it's not a Christmas tree, it's decked for Christmas. So more great ideas. I mean,
it kind of gets you in the holiday spirit. We took our team.
We took our team and then we went and have a nice lunch.
Yeah. It's just a feel good thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just really wanted to give you guys some lessons of all the things we've learned over the years, because we've literally been going to these for 17 years. I mean, we don't miss them, and they're just fantastic. And a big shout out, especially to Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, who just commits to 3 a year in Atlanta, and it's a big deal. And Flower Magazine just came into town for I think that was their first time, and that was a hit. And
a lot of these designers are not always from Atlanta. I mean, they come from
they come from all over. Yes, so it's nice to see different designers work. Yeah. But lots of lessons to be learned. So we hope that was helpful, and we shared some of those with you.
Yep.
Okay. Which quote you want?
I'll take either one.
All right. I'll do the funny one. Behind every broke millennial is a baby boomer who makes 6 figures but can't open a PDF. And that is from Stash Bam on Instagram. They are hilarious. Yeah. Their Instagram is really good because they show their work and then they show a quote and then they alternate, and they're always
they're always good.
It's a great way to get people to visit their Instagram account.
It is. Okay, so the serious quote: acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. And that's Eckhart Tolle. I think we've talked about this before. Be grateful for what you have. And just the more you're grateful, the more you receive.
It's true. And I think it's a good way to start out the year, because a new year is a time for, goals and resolutions, but it's also very overwhelming, for a lot of people. Yeah. And I think if you just give yourself grace, which is something that I didn't learn to do until a few years ago, and give yourself grace and just sit back and think about the abundance that you do have in your life, it just helps you breathe and take some stress out of your life as we charge into 2023. So, yeah. All right, everybody.
Well, thank you, ProSource Marietta, for
we love you guys.
Sponsoring us. We really appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yeah. Cheers to the new year. Cheers. Thanks.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at Kandrak-Cole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrak Cole.